Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Gideon Kwok, and I am here at AI Wellness Education, and we have Wakas here, who is the CEO of Biotricity, and we're going to learn about this amazing new product that he has on the marketplace. It's not really new, but we're just starting to learn about where technology is starting to really integrate with health and how it's going to help us live better lives, healthier lives, right? So tell us about your product and what it's all about, how you got it created, and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a whole remote patient monitoring platform, so a few different products.
Okay.
And our focus was really to bring the patient in the cardiac space. And as you know, heart disease is the number one killer in pretty much every country in the world.
Yes.
And so we wanted to tackle that, democratize that, but really look at the wellness side of it as well, right? Capture the patient when they're pre-diagnosis. So we have a diagnostic portfolio, which is really used for cardiologists to diagnose patients.
Okay.
And then we've got a wellness and lifestyle product, which is called the BioHeart, which is used for people at risk, or once they have been diagnosed, they can use it on a daily basis to manage their condition.
Amazing, amazing. So where did the thought pattern of this all come out of? You know, longevity is what we all want to abide by, live better lives, live healthier lives. And honestly, not live really that long. It's more live healthier lives. And
Right.
so this being all about wellness and education, tell us kind of how this thought pattern got created in your mind.
No, absolutely. So, health span, right? We talk about lifespan versus health span and longevity. For me, I'm always thinking about health span, right? Quality of life.
Right.
And, I was enamored with, the Fitbits of the world when they were coming out and the Jawbones and whatnot. And I looked at that and I'm like, well, that data isn't really accurate, but it did tell me that technology is at a place where we can collect large data sets of ourselves, right?
Right.
And today, most of the time, if we're trying to figure out what's going on, we go to the physician, we collect a piece of information at a moment in time,
Oh,
right? We have no idea
very
what's
true.
really going on.
Very true.
What is the impact of a certain choice? And so we really needed long-term information. So I felt that the future was really about consuming care as a part of our lifestyle on a day-to-day basis, right? Like you said, wellness, right?
Right.
So every day you wake up and you're engaging in care, and that's going to give us quality of life. So that allowed me to kind of think about it, and I stepped back and I said, well, the future's in remote monitoring. And so let me think of it not as a patient, but as a journey of an individual over a period of time. And so we built the platform, and then we said, well, what's the number one problem? Cardiac. And why is it a problem? Because it's intermittent. It happens randomly. You're looking great, and then one day you're gray and in an ambulance.
Well, it's definitely true. I mean, that in medicine, I always tell my patients, your body is going to regenerate until it has no more resources. You fall off a cliff at 80%. Your body will function until 80% of whatever it is dies, and then you fall. And then people go, I didn't feel anything yesterday. Why is it today? It's like, you can't see what's going on inside, and that's exactly what you're doing, right? Taking technology, AI, explain kind of a little bit more in depth of what it is that you guys do.
No, absolutely.
Like how do you do it?
No, for sure. So, when we talk about the heart, right? So, we're obviously cardiac focused, and what we're doing is, cardiac technology in the clinical world right now. If you're trying to figure out, you have a symptom, you show up, doctor puts you on a Holter monitor.
Yep.
And they're recording your ECG for 21 days.
Right.
The consumer application is 30-second ECGs on a watch.
Okay.
So huge difference in data, right?
Yes.
And so what we did is we created a product called BioHeart, which you wear,
Okay.
and it's continuously collecting clinical grade technology. So you wear it and you forget about it, and it's autonomously collecting. So we're talking months, years. And what it does is it's providing you actionable information. It's saying, hey, here's your heart rate while you're sleeping. Here's your heart rate while you're active.
Right.
Here's your heart rate while you're sedentary. So does working while standing up over a period of time actually give you a better, baseline heart rate, or
Right.
does it actually increase your heart rate? And how is that actually impacting? And then what we do is we summarize this information so then you can actually take it to a physician if you ever wanted to see it, because it's clinical quality, right? They can actually read the ECG.
Right.
And most monitors today, they're, taking moments in time, and they're not really taking ECG, they're taking a heart rate. And so we've taken and really got into the clinical quality.
Okay.
And so we do that. And then we apply our AI knowledge to really summarize and provide actionable events.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so public can purchase it and be able to gather some data for themselves on how they are. I mean, we were talking earlier about you and drinking coffee.
Right. Exactly.
You got to explain a little bit of that and how you can change out your lifestyle and what that potentially means for longevity on that aspect of it.
No, for sure. And it's interesting, right? So you mentioned that coffee thing. So I'm an avid coffee drinker, coffee aficionado. And so I was drinking, and everybody was always telling me, hey, you really shouldn't drink coffee at nighttime. And I'm, because you can't, how do you sleep? And I'm like, well, I don't have a problem sleeping, right? So the data point for me was associated with sleep. I'm like, I can fall asleep just fine.
Right.
And then I started wearing our BioHeart product, and I noticed that every time I drank coffee, later my heart rate was higher by 3 to 5 beats. So I calculated that out. I'm like, I'm putting like 5 years of extra work on my heart. And I said, well, that's interesting. So then I started playing with it. Well, what happens if I drink at 10, 9, 8, right? And so I basically made an adjustment, something that for 10 years people were telling me, don't do this. And I'm like, well, your data point is wrong. And there's another individual, I mean, we went out for testimonials, and some of the information that came back, it was astonishing. I never thought a product that was designed to collect long-term cardiac data is going to impact psychology, impact lifestyle, impact wellness. So there was an individual who came back and he said, I have become so much more mindful, right? And so we got on the phone and we said, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I was noticing the impact of how I react on my heart rate. I was noticing how I eat and how that impacts and how much more sluggish I feel, because I was noticing that my active time actually went lower because I felt, more sluggish and lethargic. And she's like, the product has actually made me a lot more mindful. And I'm like, I would have never thought mindful is a result of a cardiac monitor, right?
No, I mean, and that's the whole goal of, I think, AI and technology and health is more data.
Right.
Because as a physician, knowing it, we do blood pressure monitoring.
Right.
We diagnose blood pressure as two blood pressures that are higher than 140 over 90 in the office. And, it always, from my standpoint, I come from a little bit more holistic aspect of it. It's like, how do you document that you really have high blood pressure? Because if you came in running today, had almost a near-death accident, waiting in my waiting room, and then I took your blood pressure and it's high, that's one reading.
Right.
Then you came back the next day and you got in a fight with your wife or whatever. Now you have 2 readings. Now I can say, oh, you have blood pressure.
Right.
When really probably you don't. Now using something like this, you can really evaluate, is there something really going on besides just heart rate itself? Maybe really how your heart reacts. Is there maybe a murmur that's undiagnosed? Is there something diagnostic that can actually come out of it? That's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the thing that we see is that, collecting that much information also has to be synthesized in an actionable way, right? And, like you were saying, how do you see the impact of something and what do you do to fix that, right? Do you make a change? Do you not make a change? And I think that's a problem. Like you said, you get those 2 readings of blood pressure in a bad moment in time, but if you collect them over a longer period of time, and you can provide that information in a meaningful way, because also physicians, right, they're inundated with information. And this is where AI is going to come in and it's going to say, okay, we've got all of this information, but don't look at the noise. Look at these 2 readings because they're actually relevant.
Makes amazing sense. Well, congratulations on such an amazing product. We look forward to seeing more from you guys coming out in the future.
Yes, absolutely. And, check out our products at biotricity.com, and we're also available on Amazon. And
beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.